assistant is afraid of the answer.
When he got incarcerated, I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions because I wasn't trying to be an accessory or anything else like that.
Was that the first time you've been incarcerated?
No, I've been incarcerated before.
This is Judge Judy.
Thomas Brooks is suing his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, for stealing money from him while he was incarcerated and for filing a false restraining order.
Your Honor, this is case number 24 on the calendar in the matter of Brooks versus Harrell. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Mr. Brooks, it is your claim that the defendant who was in your employ somehow scammed you or embezzled you out of money.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant said that he was working for you. He has a counterclaim. He says that you owe him money for wages. I got a few questions. You hired him, according to what I've read in your complaint, as an assistant to someone who has some sort of handicap condition. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your handicap condition?
I was bedbound at the time I met Mr. Harrell in 2017.
No, just a second. Let's go slowly.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
were bedbound.
Yes, ma'am.
In what year?
2017.
Why were you bedbound?
Because of 500.
The state awarding you any money, any funds for an assistant?
Negative. No. I had my own money.
From what?
I've had money that I've been saving up, and while I was incarcerated, I had money saved up, and I was living in a room board.
Saved up from what?
From many years of Social Security that accumulated, plus I had money saved in Social Security back pay.
Okay, let's go slowly, Mr. Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
From many years of Social Security. Now,
And
you don't look like you're old enough to collect Social Security, so you were on Social Security disability.
Yes, ma'am.
Starting when?
I've been on it for approximately 22 years.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 58 of years.
According to what I read in both the complaint and the answer, you were incarcerated.
Yes, I was.
From when to when? This last time?
February 8th of 2018, I was arrested. I was released on the 15th of December of 2018.
So you were incarcerated for approximately a year?
Approximately a year, 10 months, ma'am.
Was that the first time you've been incarcerated?
No, I've been incarcerated before.
This last time that you were incarcerated, sir, what facility were you at?
Robert Presley Detention Center, Riverside County Sheriff's Department.
Were you in the hospital wing?
Yes, 7th floor medical, in my own cell.
During the time that you were there, you were on a medical unit for the...
Ma'am.
And were you there pre-trial or post-conviction?
I was there from the date of arrest to the date of sentence to the date of my release.
So that you were sentenced?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were convicted?
Yes, ma'am.
Convicted. You took a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
To what?
Harassing phone calls and a threat and violation of a restraining order.
Was that the first time you were arrested on this restraining order?
Yes.
Immediately prior to this incarceration, when was the immediate time that you were arrested and incarcerated prior to this arrest in February of 2018?
2008, I was arrested at state prison. I went to state prison, released in 2015. I was released on AB 109 due to my medical condition. They placed me in a room board where I was living at the time. I'm Mr. Harrell.
Now, I'm going to give you, sir, unless I'm really interested in this, I would like you to tell me, in as short a period of time as possible, what money you think he took from you and how.
I submitted all the proof to you in your records, the copies of the accounts, the checks that he went and picked up from the bank under my name. He also collected two payments from the Superior Court of Riverside in the amount of $500 and $1,500.
$1,000. They're both
$1,500 payment
Don't
was one. $500 payment was the second. That money was never provided to me either.
What money was that for, this $500 and $1,500?
I filed a small claim action against my former landlord, Wilma. I was awarded $3,800, but it was reduced to $2,000. I was in jail. Mr. Harrell went to the
For what?
court. The harassing call, the threat, and the violation
No. Oh, was that against your landlord?
Negative, ma'am. That was a small claims action I filed prior to being arrested against my landlord for violating numerous code violations. I sued her in court. I won the judgment, but I was in jail at the second trial de novo, which he obtained illegally. Mr. Harrell went to the court, even though I filed a motion to the court that he did not want to go pick it up. On March 1st and April 2nd, he went to the court, picked up two
Who filed the motion for you? Who filed the motion for you?
It was done while I was out of custody. Before I got arrested, I filed
Who filed
I did,
it?
ma'am.
Personally, not with a lawyer.
No,
you
no,
personally
no.
did.
No lawyers are allowed. No.
What was the name of your landlord?
Wilma,
And what was the name of the victim in the case that the state had against you for violation of a protective order?
that was a person named Sheila.
She was never allowed.
Had legal action against that works at the court that filed charges against me for violating and harassing.
Oh, no, just a second. This was another person that you filed a small claims court action against.
Court reporter.
I filed a...
Sheila.
Sheila, does not matter. I filed a small claims action prior to being...
That I understand. What I'm asking you is, I asked you the name of the victim
There's
in the
two.
protective
Sheila.
order.
There's two.
You said her
Sheila.
name was Sheila. Sheila was a person that you had a business dealing with, a landlord, but not a social friend?
Negative.
She's a court reporter, ma'am, that he was suing because
court
she didn't get
reporter?
him documents in time to appeal his eviction from the house with Castellanos.
So Sheila
Court reporter.
made an application for an order of protection because you were threatening or harassing her.
I was suing her.
That was granted.
Correct.
Just a second. That was granted. And then you were incarcerated for almost a year for violating that order of protection.
Well, along with other
I'm
charges.
just getting...
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. But the landlady against whom you were successful in getting a judgment for $2,000 was the subject of that, didn't get the minutes in time so that you could appeal. Am I getting that right?
No, that was a separate case, Your Honor. This was his illegal detainer
separate-
case. Yeah, the legal detainer case is the case that she was the court reporter for, and because she didn't give him the report in time, his lawyer, which was the free clinic,
The transcript.
yes, he couldn't appeal his case, therefore he was evicted.
When I was evicted, I took legal action against me.
And the person who evicted him was the person against whom he got this $2,000 judgment? Or
Correct.
was that another eviction?
That was the only eviction that I was involved in.
That was the only one?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you were working for him. Did you have an hourly wage or did you do just...
It was just like a
per job?
A per task, right. Per task, I would get paid approximately $200 to $300 per task, whether it was filing paperwork for him or actually appearing on his behalf in court. Those were always like $300 to cover for the time and the travel.
How many times did you appear in court for him?
I lost track. Over approximately half to a dozen times. Most of the time it was just small claims. When he got incarcerated, that's when I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions because I wasn't trying to be an accessory or anything else like that. So that's where we're at.
Now, did you get from the court $2,000,
Correct.
$500,
$1,000.
$1,500?
$1,500 and one for $500.
Your Honor, I received the checks, and I was there at the hearing when they issued the amounts for the check.
And they were
$1,000 each.
$2,000.
Correct.
Now, on what date did you get that $2,000 check?
The first payment was...
Those two?
Yes, March 1st, I believe. He said
3/1 of this year?
of 19?
18.
18.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
ask him.
I don't remember, Your
Don't
Honor.
ask.
So 18. March
Was
1st.
he incarcerated at the time?
Yes, he was.
So it had to be March of 18.
Yes,
So that's $1,000.
Correct.
And when was the second check that you got?
April 2nd.
Of 18.
Correct.
What did you do with that money?
I took it to his bank. I took the checks to his bank, like he instructed me to. That's all I ever did when he had money that he needed deposited, was I took it to the bank and they handle it.
And you made a deposit in his name?
I just gave it to the clerk. I don't physically do any deposits. I just give them. He already arranges
Well, you
it.
have to. You can't just hand them. Just a second.
Go ahead.
You can't just walk into a bank and hand them a check. There are little cubby holes.
Yeah.
You take out a slip.
I understand.
Or you have a slip already prepared.
He had
and
the
you
bank
hand
do that.
and they make a deposit. What?
He had the bank do that prior to my arrival. They handled all that stuff for him.
What's the name of the bank that handled this stuff for
Well, it's
him?
no longer in business because he sued them, and I
What bank?
I
What is the name of the bank?
don't know the name. It's out
What
of
was the
business.
name of your bank, sir?
My bank was First National Bank of Southern California, ma'am.
And he sued them.
Did
as
you
well.
sue them?
Of course. Yes, ma'am.
Shh.
I'm sorry.
Did you sue them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a lawyer?
No, ma'am.
Did you sue them over this money?
I sued the tellers, but the thing is, there was no deposits made to my account at all.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes, ma'am.
in what year did you sue the bank?
It's still ongoing, ma'am. They're getting an attorney.
It's ongoing?
Yes, ma'am. See, they tried to get restraining orders
And
against
that,
me.
Just a second. That case against the bank is still ongoing.
It's not
Is
against
that
the
what you
bank,
just
ma'am.
said to
It's
me?
against the bank employees, a couple of bank employees that were violating the credit union or policies. But they're trying to get a restraining order to this day. It's still ongoing on that.
Did it have anything to do with these
Negative.
deposits?
No, nothing at all, ma'am. There were no deposits to the bank.
I don't know that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
As of September 2019, which is after you were released, he's still asking you for payment.
I don't owe him no money. I have proof.
I didn't ask you whether you were owing him
Okay.
anything, sir.
Guy Harrell stole settlement money from him while he was in jail. Guy is countersuing for unpaid wages.
Now, Mr. Brooks, how many lawsuits have you filed within the last 3 years?
Total of 5 in 2 counties.
It's not true.
Total of 5.
Yes, ma'am.
In the last 3 years.
Yes, ma'am.
In the last 8 years, how many lawsuits have you filed?
I can't even answer that, to be honest with you.
More they can
I've had different types of suits.
Shh. I'm just asking you, in the last 8 years.
I
You
can't tell
just
you
told
that.
me in the last 3, one of which you were incarcerated. So in 2 years, you filed 5 lawsuits. Prior to being incarcerated, for the immediate 5 years before you were incarcerated, how many lawsuits did you file?
I can't tell you that, honestly. I could say probably in the last 5 years, 4 years since I've been out of custody, maybe 5 or 6, to be honest with you. I can't really remember. I don't keep track of that.
I said prior to you going to jail.
Probably
4
to 5, ma'am. I don't have the exact amount.
Mr. Harrell, you started to do work for him in 2017.
Correct, January.
Prior to that, do you know how many lawsuits Mr. Brooks had filed?
No clue whatsoever. I didn't even know anything about his legal issues until 2018 when he...
Well, I'd like to know how you met him.
I work for a cab company. They're still in business, but they mostly do non-emergency medical transport now. I got a random call from a customer, which was turned out to be Mr. Brooks. I want to say it was approximately around the 10th of January, 2017. Never had any prior dealings or information about him. I learned a lot in the years while taking him from other drivers. But his first call was come to his house. He handed me his debit card.
Okay, I got it. That's how you became involved with him.
Correct.
Now, how many times did you make deposits in his account?
Less than half a dozen.
And he got out of jail in December of 2019.
18,
Or
ma'am.
2018. When, for the first time, did Mr. Brooks accuse you of taking money
Never.
from him?
Never. Not until he tried to serve me, I guess, in March, but I never looked at the paperwork.
March of 2020?
I believe so.
Or March of 2000?
Of 20.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
you got out of jail almost 2 years ago. When, for the first time, did you ask Mr. Harrell for an accounting of any of this money?
I've always...
Never.
Can he answer?
Shh.
He has never given me a receipt.
ahead.
I've asked for an accounting numerous times. I've also requested the county of Riverside to get an accounting. He will not give receipts for nothing. My debit card for whatever service he asks for. And he swipes the card and he puts in my PIN and my code.
All right. Mr. Brooks, when you got out of jail in December of 2018, did you continue to use Mr. Harrell's services?
Not at all. He wouldn't even pick me up from the jail to take me back to my room and board.
So is what you're telling me you have not seen Mr. Harrell from the time you went to jail until today?
No, I did not say that. I said I've not used the service. I have called him numerous times. He hangs up on me or tries to block my number. So I have asked him numerous times for receipts or accounting and the money.
No, I'm not asking you receipt or accounting, Mr. Brooks. I'm not asking you receipt or accounting. What I'm asking you is whether Mr. Harrell has done any work for you, any of these small jobs,
Negative.
since you got out of jail.
Nothing. He refuses.
Is that correct, Mr. Harrell?
Absolutely incorrect.
Well, when was the last time you did a job for Mr. Brooks?
The last correspondence officially that I have with him, where I'm actually still doing stuff for him, which was basically just doing either court documents, like affidavits for him, or actually showing up in court. The last refusal that I have...
Show me.
Okay. The last refusal that I have for him in an email...
All I want you to do is show me some evidence, Mr. Harrell, that Mr. Brooks, who is clearly, since he's out of jail...
As of September 16, 2019, he's still trying to get me to do services for him when I emphatically tell him, You know, he keeps sending me documents. Okay.
Just
It's
don't
down
say
here,
anything.
Your
Let
Honor.
me read this.
This is my statement to him.
I see it.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You don't say anywhere that he owes you money.
He does owe me the money he stole from the court judgment and the bank.
I suggest, Mr. Brooks, you find something else to do other than sue people.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Thomas Brooks has accused his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, of stealing money from him while he was locked up.
Okay, go ahead.
He keeps wanting me to work on his behalf. And I told
Wanting
him,
to.
Stop. I've already told you to contact me with payment, and then we'll continue to do business after that. But he couldn't get it in his head.
Wanting him to do work is one thing. Doing it is another.
I appeared at least 2 or 3 cases between the time of him being incarcerated and the time that I told him that I'm refusing to do work for lack of payment. And he just continues to send me...
Just a second.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Now, that's September 16th, Your Honor. I have another one from the 23rd. Okay.
I want you to be quiet. I'm reading.
I'm sorry.
Harold wrote to you on September the 16th of 2019. Am I reading this right?
Correct.
I've asked you repeatedly, contact me by mail with a check, nothing else. Stop contacting me. What was that about?
He keeps thinking I owe him $4,500, and I don't owe him nothing. He's made a declaration to the court, and I have the statement showing he's been paid in full. I have his PayPal account screenshot and all the copies of the checks.
So as of at least that date, the 19th, he has something else to show me. As of September 2019, which is after you were released, he's still asking you for payment. He's asking you for a check.
I don't owe him no money. I have proof.
I didn't ask you whether you were owing him anything, sir.
He's asking for money.
I said he was still asking you for a check.
Yes.
Okay, let me see the next time, Mr. Harrell.
This is the emphatic denial from him on September 23rd, where he just listed all the threats and demands for, you know, for me if I was going to come after him.
You mean that was for your request to him for money?
Just and for him to stop contacting me. And he sent me this long email about all the factors of which he wasn't going to pay me.
Well, Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
This communication from owing you any money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Now, you're talking in this letter about his claim that you owe him money. You don't say anywhere that he owes you money.
He does owe me the money he stole from the court judgment and the bank. I have the copies of them. I'd like to submit my proof, please.
We're done. We're done. Mr. Harrell.
Yes, Your Honor.
I would suggest you not do any more work for him. Do you understand?
I haven't, Your Honor.
Okay, good. And you haven't, according to this, in 2 years, right?
Approximately
you
since
told him to leave you
June
alone.
of 2019,
right.
Correct.
So in 2 years, yeah.
Can I show my exhibit,
I suggest,
please?
Mr. Brooks, you find something else to do other than sue people. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
That's fine, no problem.
The counterclaim, Your Honor?
Gone.
Counterclaim?
Gone.
So I'm not going to get paid?
I just answered you.
Okay, all right.
It's 2 years old. That's correct. Goodbye, both of you. We're done.
This case is concluded. Let's step out.
And on the next Judge Judy.
I just completely walked into the window with trash in my hand and fell back.
He was intoxicated.
You saw him fall.
I did, and he called his mom right away. She told him to sue them. That I heard.
Judge.
He's going to continue on this. He's not going to stop.
No, I'm not. I'll sue for what I got coming.
One of his lawyers told me when I first got involved with his criminal cases, you know, I should run from this guy, not walk.
I had harassing phone calls. Yes, that's a misdemeanor.
Money when you're in business is key. I mean, I got thousands, tens of thousands of dollars from working from this guy.
And he takes $4,000 out of my account when I'm in jail. What else am I supposed to do? Sue.
Suspicions at the groomer.
I thought it was unusual that she wanted to rush me out with both dogs at the same time.
Then,
What happened when you got home?
There was blood.
a dog owner's shock.
It was a little gruesome. There was a piece of tail missing. It was like sliced. I couldn't believe what I saw.
Ultimately, Marley had to have most of his tail amputated.
This is Judge Judy. Brenda Cornejo is suing dog groomer Diane Layton for vet bills and damages resulting from injuries to her dog, Marley.
Judge, this is case number 84 on the calendar in the matter of Cornejo versus Layton. Parties have been sworn in. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Thanks, Bird. Miss Cornejo, this loves the dog.
Marley is almost 7.
Have you had him?
I've had him. I adopted him.
You adopted him when?
It was June 16.
So you've had him about 4 years, a little over 4 years. Do you have any other dogs?
I do. I have a beautiful German Shepherd. She's a female. Her name is Penny. And they get along really well.
The defendant is a dog groomer, and from your papers, it appears as if you've used her in the past. Have you used her for both dogs in the past, or just this dog's name is Marley?
This is Marley. I've used her for both of my dogs because I would take them together.
Since at least 2016?
Correct.
How often do you take Marley to be groomed?
He gets groomed professionally about every, I would say, 2 to 3 months. It just depends on, how dirty he gets. But I bathe my dogs in between the groomings.
And other than this incident, which brings you to court today, you've been satisfied with her work?
Yes.
Now, according to your complaint, there did come a time, this is the last time that you took Marley to the defendant, that there was an issue.
Yes.
On what date was the last time that you took him for grooming by the defendant?
Yeah, so he was last groomed by Diane Layton on July 21st, 2020.
Prior to July 21st of 2020, to the dog's tail?
Absolutely
his
not.
Tail, nothing.
Absolutely not.
What time, if you recall, did you take Marley into Miss Layton to be groomed?
I dropped him off. It was, I would say, around 10:30, 11. And then I picked him up a little after 4:30. And so it was a longer than usual time for them to be groomed.
Does the defendant call you to tell you it's time to come and pick up the dogs?
Yes, she has to.
And in the prior 4 years that you've been taking Marley to her for grooming, approximately how long does that grooming session take?
Approximately, let's say like 2 hours.
So this was considerably longer?
Yes, it was unusually longer.
Will you tell me what happened when you went to pick up Marley on the 21st of July?
I got the call that the dogs were ready, and I went up to the counter, and she looked nervous and asked me to take both of my dogs at the same time. And I normally take one at a time because I can't manage, the Shepherd and Marley. So I said, no, I can only take one at a time. I thought it was unusual that she wanted to rush me out with both dogs at the same time, but I said, no, I can only take one at a time. So I grabbed Marley first, and then I went from point A to point B, so the door of the grooming. Right before I put him in the car, I did notice like a fresh drop of blood on the side of his body, but I looked and there was no cut. There was nothing there, so I thought it was unusual, but then I put him in the car and went back for my other dog. And then because of the way the parking situation is located in front of her shop, there's cars waiting for you. There's only like 2 parking spaces. And so they're waiting for you to move. So
you left?
Yeah, so it was very quick.
Left. What happened when you got home?
I picked them up by myself. Usually my son accompanies me, but as soon as I got home, he was out there waiting to help me bring the dogs down. And I parked, and he took both dogs through the side of the house to the backyard. And he was playing with them outside.
Were you watching them?
I was watching him outside of the porch door, and he was playing with them there.
So you were watching?
Uh-huh.
Okay, continue.
So he was under the porch playing with the dogs, and it was momentarily, and then he screamed, and he yelled out, "Mom!" The dog's bleeding, and, he was, like scared. So I went out there, and I looked at Marley, and I couldn't believe what I saw. It was a little gruesome. There was a piece of tail like missing. It was like sliced. There was blood that apparently had restarted bleeding. Believe it. I was in a bit of a shock, like seeing my dog in this condition.
I want to go back for a moment. When you took Marley from the defendant's shop, you said you saw a drop of blood. Had you ever seen that before?
No. Because I didn't see any visible cuts on that side, I didn't know where it was coming from. Once I went outside to the porch and I assessed the dog and I saw him wagging his tail, and because the bleeding had restarted, he was, wagging the tail and flipping it to the side of his body. So, of course, the blood was coming from the tail and landing on the side of his body.
And that's why we're here, because the dog was, in fact, injured. We'll get to where and how that happened. You had substantial vet bills, and ultimately, Marley had to have most of his tail amputated.
Correct.
That's why you're here.
Correct.
The defendant has a whole other menu of excuses as to why this didn't happen as a result of her, but happened as a result of probably your neglect. So after you saw what happened, I assume you took the dog directly to your local vet, to the vet that you use.
Correct. There was no delay. So I called the vet, and unfortunately, it was almost closing time.
What did you do?
So I frantically started searching for another vet because I called my vet and
The vet?
Yes.
I would just like to see the vet's report and bill. First, the report, if you would.
So they gave me this. This is what they gave me.
Okay. Did they stitch or bandage?
They did a clip and clean, and they did IV antibiotics. They placed a bandage and e-collar. They gave them
Did she go back?
antibiotics.
I can read. Did you take the dog back to another vet subsequently?
So this was the original vet visit, and we kept in touch.
Listen to me. The answer is either yes or no. Did you take the dog back to another vet or the same vet?
I took him back to the same vet until the 28th.
Okay. I would like to see the other bills and reports from the same vet.
So
this one was
so that's
$400.
the first one. And then there was a recheck here for pain medication. And the rechecks aren't billed, so it's just rechecks. They gave me...
I understand. I'm reading it. Don't tell me what they said.
Okay.
And that was on what date, the 28th?
Yes.
Did you take the dog back to this vet or to your regular vet the next time?
I took him back to my regular vet as a second opinion.
On what date?
On
what date? May I see it, please?
Yes. So they actually gave me an exam.
Shh, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Sorry.
When was the next time? Just give me the date.
So he was...
Just give me the date. I see that the dog was not eating.
On the 29th of the morning was the second opinion from my vet. And then...
I see that.
And within an hour, I
see
took...
that. When was the next?
On the same day. The same day his tail was amputated with surgical intervention.
At what vet?
True Care for Pets. It's an emergency pet center.
May I see the write-up and the bill for that,
yes.
please?
So this shows...
Don't tell me what it shows, just put it down. And can I see the bill for that, please?
Yes, so...
Okay, and now Marley is fine. Look, he has a shorter tail.
Yes.
Looks perfectly happy.
Yeah.
Okay, but he wasn't for a long time. All right, Miss Layton, tell me what happened on the 21st of July.
On the 21st, she came in around 11 o'clock. And we start taking our dogs in at 7 o'clock, so she was one of the last dogs we took for the day, so that's why they were there so long. I have a copy of Marley's card that we write everything on. As they chose, Marley has been having trouble with that tail since 2018.
2018?
Yes.
And what kind of trouble has Marley been having with the tail?
We have been taking fly eggs off the end of that tail since 2018, the very tip of it.
Explain that. Look at me. You've been doing what? Explain to me what you've been doing.
When we put him in the bathtub and the big crust is there, it's full of fly eggs. So when we have him in the tub, we soak them all off, clean it all up, and each year it has progressively gotten worse and worse and worse. And she's done nothing about it up until the day that it was so bad that it really bled.
Your Honor, that's incorrect,
Okay.
and I can show you proof.
Just a second. I would like you to show me on her card, starting in 2018, where you document that.
You want 2018 only?
No, well, I want to start with 2018, where you document the fact that you told her that this was a problem and that she's done nothing about it. But that's the tip of the tail.
Yes.
That doesn't require any surgical removal. She had, according to you, fly eggs that were crusted, and you soaked it, and you removed the eggs and continued with the grooming.
Yes, the problem with it is when they leave the fly eggs for that long, they get a bacterial infection, and the tail will progressively gotten worse and worse.
Your Honor, can I show proof?
Just a second. I would like you to point to me what you're talking about. Okay, and read it to me.
Okay, August 9th of 2018 was the first time we started seeing trouble.
Tell me what it says.
It says...
Read exactly what it says in 2018.
She takes a 7 on the body, which makes the dog bald, which makes him more susceptible to flies.
Okay, no. Just read what it says.
7, everything. Number 10 on muzzle. Had bloody tail.
Wait just a second. Had bloody...
Your Honor, she forged that card and I can show you.
Just a second. I don't want to hear you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I only want you to read me what you did, not your groomer. That's hearsay. Are any of them here today?
I didn't bring any. I thought the card was good enough. It has their initials and their signatures.
How do I know who they are?
Brenda Cornejo is accusing dog groomer Diane Layton of lacerating her dog's tail during a grooming appointment. Brenda says the tail was amputated as a result.
Okay, read what it says, please. I can't read your handwriting.
This is one of my did not do.
Oh, no. That's it. Just a second. I only want you to read me what you did, not your groomer.
These are all what different groomers have done to Marley. Every one of these.
Just a second. Miss Layton, do these groomers still work for you?
Well, most of them. I only have 6 now because of COVID.
But most of these groomers work for you. I'm not reading what they said. That's hearsay. I can't read what they observed. Are any of them here today?
I didn't bring any. I thought the card was good enough. It has their initials and their signatures.
How do I know who they are? Maybe you wrote that. Maybe your sister wrote it. Maybe your friend wrote it.
I can show you cards.
That's the way courts work. Courts have to have witnesses that they can examine. And they can say, describe what you meant. That if you said you saw a bloody tail, explain to me what you meant by bloody tail. I have to be able to ask a witness. Do you
I have
understand
cards
what this
on,
is?
yeah, I do, but I have cards on every dog we do, and every dog, everything is noted. Everything. That's what this catalog is.
Your Honor, can I show proof of
Can
her
I
false
see?
statement?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm discarding it anyway, but if you want to tell me why it's false, you can.
So her statement is completely false because she's claiming that since 2018, he had a bleeding, which aside from the pictures that are dated from 2017 to the present of February 2020, I have my witness who has seen my dogs. Her kids have played with my dogs. They've seen him in the front yard.
Now I'll hear you witness.
Hello, Your Honor.
Tell me your name.
My name is Tia Weinstein.
Ms. Weinstein, when was the last time that you saw Marley just prior to his having his tail amputated?
Probably in February 2020, when we just have the dogs come out and play with the kids in our cul-de-sac.
How many times have you seen Marley play between 2017 and February of 2020?
Numerous times. Too many times to count.
More than 10?
Yes, more than 10, 20, 30. It's literally a weekly thing.
Are you neighbors?
We are neighbors.
Have you ever seen injury to the dog's tail?
Never.
Have you ever seen Marley biting or scratching or biting his tail?
No, not at all.
And between 2016 and 2020, did the plaintiff ever complain prior to July 21st about Miss Layton's care of either one of her dogs?
No, never. She's never.
Very good. Anything else either one of you want to show me?
I would like to show you some pictures of fly bites on a dog that we just did this last week.
Was it this dog?
No, it was not, but it shows you what kind of damage the fly can do.
Your Honor.
Not interested.
Can I show you?
I'm
sorry.
Just a second. Just a minute. I'm not interested in pictures of another dog with fly bites. What else do you have?
I just have what I sent you showing that this dog has had trouble all along.
Okay, good. What else do you want to show me?
I would
Tell
like
me
to
first
show
what it is.
you the Yelp reviews of Silmar
Thank you, Ms.
Grooming.
Weinstein. Not interested. What else?
And I have the copies of the medical expenses of what Marley went through and the pictures of the stages of the tail in different conditions because of this accident.
Oh, well, I'd like to see pictures of the different conditions. That I would like to see. Because I already have the numbers.
This is the picture of July 21st and how it looked.
Okay.
This is a picture of how they left him patched up in different areas of his body, which tells me that they probably struggled.
Don't tell me
him.
what to tell. Don't listen to me. You want to volunteer a lot of information that you're not allowed to do. Just show me a picture. I draw my own conclusion.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So I had to lose income because of this 2-month healing process. I called in sick. I gave away shifts. I took unpaid time.
Okay. It was a terrible accident.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Brenda Cornejo says dog groomer Diane Layton severely injured her dog Marley during a grooming appointment.
Okay, what are you showing me now?
This is the condition of the tail. So these are stages of how the tail progressed from the date of injury to the healing process that took about 2 months after being amputated.
Just a second. Where was the cut? Just show me where the cut was that you're alleging, because I assume
right here.
that you went outside and you saw the cut.
It's right here, ma'am.
Now, where
Your
on the tail was that cut?
On the tip, Your Honor.
Show me the other picture. Is that when he first came home?
July 21st is this picture. This is right after grooming. This is the date of injury.
Okay.
That's July
Got
21st.
it. So that's what it looked like?
Yes.
Okay, now I got it. All right, your vet bills are $3,110.
No.
That's what I have, $400.32 and $26.78. The vet bills.
So these are all of the bills from True Care for Pets surgery. So it's that one.
What is that for?
That's a bandage light wrap.
Okay, so just a minute. That's a plus 60. Next.
And I have another 98. Then I have another 90.
Wound repair. That's on 8/12.
Then I have another 32.50.
I already added that $32 in, madam.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, anything else?
Yes. So this is a whole packet here. So this is the main surgery.
I already have that.
Okay. And then there's this one.
Anything else? I have $33.58. Do you work, Ms. Corneo?
Yes, ma'am. I have 2 jobs. I'm a pediatric oncology nurse.
Just a minute. $6.78. I've got that already. Next. Come on.
Okay. Did you get this one? All occasions. So I had to lose income because of this 2-month healing process. I called in sick. I gave away shifts. I took unpaid time.
Okay.
Etc.
It was a terrible accident. $33.58. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
The ski passes turned out to be fraudulent.
We are all in the same exact position.
You have to find the person that duped you if you were a dope that got duped.
Judge Judy.
Didn't strike one up for the groomers. We get blamed for a lot.
I think the decision was appropriate and fair.
I told them 3 separate times to get that dog to the vet, and they totally ignored it.
It's hurtful, but it's false. They're well taken care of.
How can I be sorry it happened? We didn't do it.
Take pictures before and after you drop off your dog. Inspect them thoroughly.
Groomers never win.
Mine is a happy dog, and I'm glad that he survived.
Did you see her riding the bike?
I did not see her.
A driver who couldn't care less.
To stop my fall before I was hit by a truck. She said, "I'm sorry, but I'm running late for school."
Or a cyclist going against the flow.
You were coming from the opposite direction. In California, it's illegal to drive against traffic.
This is Judge Judy. Bicyclist Kalinda Watts is suing motorist Alyssa Mincher for running into her when Alyssa pulled out of a driveway.
Judges, case number 116 on the calendar in the matter of Watts versus Mincher. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, ma'am.
Miss Watts, this accident happened about 2 years ago. According to your complaint, you were riding a bicycle to a campus job that you had. Where do you go to school?
I attended Chico State University.
This incident happened on October 17th of 2018. Approximately what time?
Around 7:51 a.m.
So in the daylight?
Yes.
You were riding your bicycle, and it is your claim that the defendant hit you on the bike. You were injured, wore a knee brace, etc. The defendant says the accident was your fault. So let's try to figure it out, and then we'll try to figure out what took you 2 years to get here. You were riding in the street, correct, with traffic?
Yes, yeah, well...
You were traveling in the street where cars travel, not on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Or against traffic?
I was riding against traffic. At that time, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to, and I was against.
I don't care whether you knew it or not.
Okay.
Whether you knew it is not relevant. You live in California. This incident happened in California. In California, it's illegal to drive against traffic. You know that now.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you know that now because, according to, I think what I read, you did at some point consult an attorney.
Yes, Your Honor. I did have an attorney, and he gave it to his assistant, which is my paralegal, who is with me today.
You no longer have that attorney?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And I would suggest to you that one of the reasons you don't have that attorney is because it's very difficult, unless you can show some extraordinary reason, like the defendant was intoxicated, high, texting, doing something that was grossly negligent, that when you're committing an act that is illegal under California law, which is driving against traffic, very hard to prove that somebody else is culpable for an accident. So now you're traveling against traffic. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. According to your complaint, you were coming up to a driveway, the driveway of an apartment complex. So you tell me what happened.
Okay. On my way, I saw a car pulling out of the driveway. At first, I had stopped to make sure that she knew that I was riding my bike. She had made a stop, a complete stop, and while I was riding from her right, she was only looking towards the left side, not looking both ways. So I was trying to make eye contact with her while I was riding my bike, also trying to acknowledge her. I was waving, and I kept saying, hey, so she knew that I was approaching. And by the time that I was trying to pass her, she collided into my knee and my bike, and I had to stop my fall before I was hit by a truck. I could have been hit by a truck, correction, I'm sorry.
So it sounds to me like she did everything right. She stopped. She came to a complete stop. She was looking to make a right-hand turn.
Yes, Your Honor.
She looked to her left to make sure that there were no cars coming to her left so that she could make a right-hand turn. You were coming from the opposite direction, riding the wrong way, and she didn't see you. If you stopped before the driveway, actually stopped before the driveway, you wouldn't have gotten hit. Am I getting something? Is something not registering with me?
No, Your Honor. You're actually correct. I knew that I was coming towards the bike path.
But clearly, I mean, because she doesn't look like a nut job, and she wasn't drunk at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, and she came to a full stop. So you're not suggesting to me, Miss Watts, that you tried to make contact with her, you actually did make contact with her so that she acknowledged that you were there and that you could go, and she accelerated anyway and hit you on purpose. You're not suggesting that to me.
No, Your Honor.
Well, what theory do you have that would suggest to me that she's responsible for this accident? Just because you were on a smaller bike? What's your theory?
No, Your Honor. So,
I mean, you're not a lawyer.
Yes, I am not. The only problem that I had was after she hit me, at that time I was struck. I didn't know the protocol of, getting people's information or their insurance. All I asked was when after we collided, she looked at me and she said, I'm sorry, but I'm running late for school. And I told her that I was on my way to school as well, the same campus that we attend at the time. And all she did was give me her number She put it in my phone, and there was a witness that was there that pulled over and saw the accident at the time, and she just left. I tried to get in contact with her the next day because I told her I didn't want to file a lawsuit. I didn't want to sue her or anything because I was dealing with the physical pain from the handlebars colliding into my rib cage, and I went to the hospital that same day. Just stating about, I just told her once I got in contact with Alyssa at the time, I told her, all I want is for you to just pay for the medical bills. That's it. I didn't want anything else. I didn't want to press charges. When I told my family, they told me it was best that I got her insurance information because that's what you're supposed to do when you get into an accident. So she just kept denying and didn't want to give me her insurance. And I told her, once again, I don't want to sue you. I don't want to press charges. I just want your insurance information because that's the protocol that we're supposed to do, and that's what my family requested. She hung up in my face. Yeah. I kept calling her. She did not answer and was ignoring my calls. I sent her a text message that on the 19th, just reinstating that I didn't want to sue or do anything. All I wanted was her insurance information. And she still never responded.
What did you want? Just a second. Just a second. She should have given you her insurance information, except the accident was your fault. I mean, protocol was she should have given you her insurance. But according to what you told me, Miss Watts, according to your testimony and what I read in the complaint, on the wrong side of the street. She came to a full stop at her parking lot and didn't see you traveling the wrong side of the street. And as you said, the two of you collided. Now, let us assume that you were not hurt and you didn't have sore ribs and you didn't have a sore knee for a few weeks. Let's say you were not hurt at all, but your bicycle scratched up her car and she had a counterclaim that your bicycle scratched her car. I would dismiss your lawsuit and grant her counterclaim because the accident was your fault. The fact that you were hurt is sad, but irrelevant to the fact that the accident was your fault. And ignorance of the law is no excuse. You now know, and the attorney that you spoke to told you that California law says that you must drive in the direction of traffic, and it's illegal to do so otherwise. And I'm sure the attorney told you that.
Yes, Your Honor, and I take full responsibility.
Well, if you do, then you understand that I'm dismissing your lawsuit. Just because there's an accident and somebody gets hurt, it doesn't mean that it's somebody else's fault. Now, there's no question, Ms. Mincher, that you should have given her your insurance information because that's up to other people to. Did you have insurance on your car?
I did, yes.
In October of 2018?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What make and model car do you have?
At the time, it was a 1995, let's see. It was a 1995 Buick. It was a white vehicle. I'm not too sure what model it is.
Okay, Miss Mincher. The plaintiff tells me, true or not, that she tried to make eye contact with you. Did you see her riding the bike?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you go to work the next day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you use the same bicycle that you had used the day before?
No, Your Honor. Ever since that accident, I've never touched my bike again.
And later today,
I want to know where June's rent was.
Where June's rent was?
Yeah, you were supposed to pay $350 for June. Why didn't you pay it?
bicyclist Kalinda Watts says she was injured after motorist Alyssa Mincher collided with her when Alyssa pulled out of a driveway.
Now, the plaintiff tells me, true or not, that she tried to make eye contact with you. Did you see her riding the bike?
No.
In the opposite direction of traffic? Did you continue to your job that day?
No, Your Honor. I sat in the parking lot waiting for my supervisor at the time to come pick me up, and she took me home.
Did you go to work the next day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And did you use the same bicycle that you had used the day before?
No, Your Honor. Ever since that accident, I've never touched my bike again.
How did you get to your job?
I started taking the local bus.
Smart. Where is the bicycle? Where was it in October, November? Did you sell it? Give it away?
No, Your Honor. I had left it parked at the apartment complex that I lived in at that time.
You left it there, and you moved and left it there?
Yes, but I ended up getting rid of it, yes, Your Honor. I didn't sell it.
How did you get rid of it?
Selling it for parts. I needed the finances, dealing with my own financial problems. So I just gave certain parts away. The tires, they were already flat from the accident, so I just threw what I could away that was left over.
Okay. All right. Fine. Ms. Watts, I'm glad I could finally give you a little bit of closure. I know that you probably had a little bit of it through your attorney. No, you have the paralegal here. I don't need the paralegal. It's clear that not every accident that has an injury demonstration that the person who was the cause of that accident. In this case, she was not the cause of the accident. You were. Unfortunately, you got hurt. But I'm glad you're better and moved on. So your case is dismissed and we're finished. Thank you. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, I take full responsibility of my actions.
All I remember from it was I was about to turn. I saw a flash in front of me.
Yes, I did go to the hospital.
And I stopped immediately, and I know that it was her fault, but I felt really bad.
I've dealt with depression, anxiety, PTSD from that. I went to counseling for a whole year just trying to process that.
I immediately went out to try and help her up, and then she told me to get back into the parking lot, and I did so and continued to try and help her out.
Still haven't ridden a bike after that, so it's still, a huge impact.
I'm glad that we've gotten closure and I don't have to deal with this anymore. It's been 2 years.
I take full responsibility of my actions, so, getting a resolution and just being able to have an understanding of, what went down. I'm just honored to even be here, so.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Keffer versus Aragon, step forward.
24-year-old Jenny Keffer is suing her former roommate paid rent after she broke their lease and moved in with her boyfriend.
All right, Miss Aragon, I'm going to start with you. You and the plaintiff rented an apartment together. You had a lease on the apartment. It was just the two of you on the lease. So far, is that correct?
Yes.
And when did you sign that lease?
I think it was the end of December.
2012?
Yes, I believe so.
Don't ask me. It's not a question. When did you sign the lease?
January 1st, 2013.
And it was a one-year lease?
No, it was a 6-month lease.
When did you move out?
May 20th.
So you moved out prior to the termination of the lease because, according to you, you couldn't afford to pay the rent anymore.
Yes.
Ms. Keffler was able to find somebody for the month of June to come in. She says that the person who she found to come in was prepared to pick up a portion of your rent for the month of June. So she was trying to limit your liability. And what she wants from you is your portion of the rent that was not covered by this roommate that she found on a short-term lease, which was $350, and a $50 late fee, because she said that you were really supposed to pay that rent to the rental office. You didn't, so she had to pay $400. Can I see the check for $400?
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to say to me, Miss Aragon?
Yes, I had every intention of paying a workers' comp check. I was involved in a bad car accident on April 30th. I expressed to Jenny, I came to her and told her that I was having financial difficulties because of the car accident.
I heard that you were having financial difficulties. You still owe the $350.
Exactly.
By the way, the check here is just for $350, not a $50 late fee, so it's $350.
Exactly.
So did you move out?
I moved out on May 20th.
Did you pay the $350?
I did not, because she was withholding my workers' comp check. I had no money. I had
Just a second. How could she be withholding it if you moved out in May?
Well, I have that it was issued June 13th, and then it had to be reissued again because I had to put a void on the check. So.
I want to know where June's rent was.
Where June's rent was?
Yeah, you were supposed to pay $350 for June. Why didn't you pay it?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why are you still living there?
The new roommate and I renewed our lease.
Then you owe her the security deposit.
She forfeited it.
No, she didn't. No, dear. You are incorrect.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jenny Keffer says her ex-roommate, Amber Aragon, broke their lease. Amber is countersuing for the return of her security deposit.
Now, Miss Aragon, did you pay?
Comp check.
Your workman's comp check wasn't issued until June 13th. Rent is due the 1st of the month. And I'm asking you, do you have any reason, just reason, why you didn't pay on the 1st of June the $350?
Because I didn't have the financial means.
That's the answer. It's not because she was withholding your mail.
But
Because the check wasn't issued until after the rent was due, right?
I understand, yes.
Okay, so that's part of your counterclaim. But the reason you didn't pay her is not because she was withholding your mail. The reason you didn't pay her is because you say you didn't have the money, right?
Well, because she was withholding the check. It was just reissued after the fact.
On what date did she say, I'm withholding your check until you pay me my money?
Can I?
Look, give me the date.
On June 8th.
That's the 8th. And when is rent due?
On the 1st.
On the 1st. So you didn't pay June's rent.
But
you skipped out on June's rent. And when you skipped out on June's rent, where did you go?
I went to...
Where did you go to live?
At my boyfriend's
Right.
apartment.
You went to live with your boyfriend. So you owe her $350. Now, the only issue that I have with you actually, her counterclaim, the rest of the stuff is nonsense. Does she have a security deposit with you?
Well, it rolled over. She forfeited the security deposit when she signed her name off the lease.
Do you have a piece of paper saying that she leased?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
This is her signing her name off the lease.
I just want to see that it says she forfeits her security deposit. It says the security deposit will be retained by the landlord until possession of the property is returned to the landlord. Have you done that?
No, I still live there.
Still live there?
So I didn't get any security deposit back.
Just a second. When was your lease up?
July 1st.
Well, why are you still living there?
Because the new roommate and I renewed our lease.
Then you owe her the security deposit.
She forfeited it when
No, she didn't. No, dear. You are incorrect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Real Cases, Real People. Judge Judy. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, just because you and your new roommate decided to stay on in the premises, her obligation under that lease would have terminated automatically. So you have to return her security deposit. How much did she put into the security deposit?
It was $580, and we split it. And then there's $120 out when the lease is up. So 580 minus 120 is 460.
No. She owes you $100. You have a security deposit. You're going to get it back. Keep the apartment nice and clean. Anything else?
There's nothing as far as regarding the fact that she was withholding my check, and I was late on bills and everything like that because she was withholding my workers' comp check.
When did you finally get the check?
It was issued on June 13th. It came probably like 3 or 4 days after that.
So you got it within 3 days?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that much trouble because you were living with your boyfriend, right?
Well, I still have to pay rent with my boyfriend.
How much rent did you have to pay with your boyfriend?
I had to pay $500.
I don't believe anything. Okay. You owe her $100. That's all. Thank you.
Please excuse me. Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift.
Charmed out of her money?
You gave him a credit card, then you gave him another card. That's not smart.
My bad.
Judge Judy.
I don't agree with the fact that I have to give her security deposit back because we never even discussed it.
I don't think that she was necessarily telling the complete truth.
I did her a favor and I found someone who couldn't afford to pay it.
I couldn't afford it because I got in a car accident. I didn't know exactly what my financial situation was going to be like.
She tried to find someone off Craigslist, but I am not about to live with some sketchy person off Craigslist.
I did look on Craigslist. I did ask around and see if anybody that I knew would be able to just basically take over the complete portion of the rent.
What friendship? We're not friends.
I don't know. It was kind of out of my hands, considering I got in a car accident. I couldn't afford it. So maybe drive careful.
Choose your roommates wisely.
I'm asking you questions. It's going to get uglier.
A trucker takes a spin with the company credit card.
He said you took his money.
He admitted that he had done it.
But his luck ran out at a casino.
There were 3 withdrawals that day.
I told him I bought 3 gaming tickets.
The refrigerator trailer ran out of fuel because he was in gambling.
You know that I think that you're a thief.
This is Judge Judy. Trucking company owner Michael Scharbach. is suing his former employee, Mark Harrell, for making unauthorized charges on a company credit card.
Judge, this is case number 124 on the calendar in the matter of Scharbach versus...
At one point had a trucking company.
Still do.
And according to your complaint, at some point, you'll tell me when, you employed the defendant as a driver.
That's correct.
It is your claim that he misused a company credit card that you had given him to be used for business purposes in a trip that he was making, and it is your claim that he made charges on that when he was at a casino in 2 different states. The defendant said he personally only used the card for business expenses when the truck broke down during the course of the journey, and that when you questioned him subsequently about the amounts, because the amounts were large at the casino, he discovered that he no longer had the card and it must have been either lost or stolen. That's your answer. Correct, sir?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, let's have the dates, Mr. Scharbach, of the employment and the date of this trip.
His employment began on August 18th of this year.
What year?
This year.
And when did it terminate?
It terminated on September, I believe it was 22nd, when I paid him his last payment.
When you paid him his last salary check?
Yes.
And what was that? What was that salary that you paid him on September 22nd?
It's here in the bank statement. It was $800 and $600.
He did for you?
That was for driving and delivering the loads.
On what date or dates do you allege that he made these unauthorized charges on your credit card? Now, you gave him a credit card when he started to work in August.
Right, it's a debit card.
That was a business credit card.
It's a debit card to my account. Because when they're on the road, if they have a breakdown, need a tire, that kind of stuff, they got to have a card because they won't accept one over the phone.
And on what dates was he making this run when he used the card, according to you, for unauthorized charges?
Started on the 16th.
Just a second. And look at your statement and tell me where that unauthorized debit was made and at what place.
It was made at the Route 66 casino in Albuquerque, New Mexico. There were 3 withdrawals that day.
And what were the 3 withdrawals?
One was $313. The other 2 were $416.50 each.
Pretty odd numbers.
Yeah, well, there's a story behind that if you would like to hear what he said.
I'm dying to hear what he said.
Okay. He was supposed to
You confronted him about these charges.
I most certainly did.
And this is at the Route 66 casino.
Yes.
Just before I let you tell me his story, Mr. Harrell.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you ever at the Route 66 casino in Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Yes.
Now, he's going to tell me what you told him when confronted about these charges at the casino. Go.
Okay. When he finally called me, because I thought he had delivered Monday night like he was supposed to, because he wasn't answering his phone, he said that he had lost the key to the truck and had locked his phone inside, and he didn't remember my number. I know I knew his wife's number, and she had my number, but he called me Tuesday night, and the story he told me was that he had found the key about 10 feet away from the truck, a day and a half later.
What were the charges for?
He told me that there was like a mechanic in a white pickup that was driving around the lot fixing different trucks, which is common. And he said he asked that mechanic if he could get him a key. And he said the mechanic said, yes, it's $400. So he says he got $400 out of the casino. Well, the whole in that statement is the first withdrawal from the casino was $313. So if he had to give the guy $400 for a key, why did he draw $313?
Just a second. So is what you're telling him, Mr. Harrell, is all of these charges were related to the truck?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okie dokie. Did you get any receipts from any of those people?
No, I did not. And first, if I may clarify, it wasn't Tuesday that I called him. It was Monday before my delivery.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. It was Tuesday.
It was
Mr. Harrell, I read your answer. And at some point, you said to your employer, oops, those aren't my charges. I don't have the card. I must have lost it, or it was stolen.
I never said it was stolen.
Or lost.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you said in your answer, because you said, I told him that those weren't my charges. I then realized I didn't have the card, and I must have left it somewhere.
In Oklahoma.
He told me not to worry about it. What?
In Oklahoma. I didn't leave it in Albuquerque.
It was then I realized I didn't have the card and that it must have been left somewhere. He told me not to worry because he would report the car stolen and get the funds back through his bank. That's what you wrote in your answer. That's what you swore to, sir. So there must have been some charges on the debit card that you disputed, that you said, those aren't my charges. I lost the card and somebody knew the PIN number in order to get into it, because you needed a PIN number, right?
No.
Yes,
you didn't need it. All you needed was the card.
To draw from the ATM.
It was ran credit. I didn't draw money out. I made a purchase.
Oh, you lie.
What did you purchase? What did you purchase?
So I bought I purchased
Listen
a gaming ticket, which is not cash.
A gaming ticket.
Correct.
Just a second. I'm asking you questions. Ticket. Well, that had nothing to do with the truck. And how much was the gaming ticket?
$300.
You know that I think that you're a thief. You may be a thief with a jacket and a tie, but did you tell your employer that you purchased a gaming ticket for $300?
Yes.
No.
Interesting. So tell me at what point that you told him that you purchased a gaming ticket, because you needed a PIN number to take money out of an ATM. Tell me, I'm looking at your answer. When did you tell him that you had, in fact, done some spending at the casino?
Monday, or probably around noon. I told him I bought 3 gaming tickets to pay for
3 gaming tickets?
Yes, because the mobile mechanic was the one that told me I could do that because he required cash. He would not take a card. But he said, if you buy the gaming ticket, I will take it and cash it in.
Oh, run this by me again. I love it. The mechanic from whom you do not have a receipt
or a name
told you to buy a gaming ticket. And what did you do with the gaming ticket?
I took it to him.
Don't look over there.
I gave it to him.
You gave him the gaming ticket?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you spent $300 for it?
Yes.
What else did you spend on the card?
Nothing.
Well, then why would it have been that you told him that you didn't have the card if you didn't spend anything on the card? Because if it was used at ATMs, if what the unauthorized purchases, which you said you didn't make, except for this gaming ticket, everything else came out of an ATM, which required a PIN number. So how many withdrawals did you make from the ATM using a PIN number?
None.
None?
Correct.
Okay. Now, so what do we have on your ledger from your debit card that he had use of during that period of time? 15th, 16th. Read it to me, starting with the date.
September 15th at the Route 66 casino. $314.
Okay, how much?
And 85 or 95 cents, excuse me.
And was that from the ATM?
Yes. And then also Route 66 casino on the same date, $416.95 or $18.95.
Okay, very good. 9/15. Are there any other charges after the 15th? Now, we already said he purchased a gaming card for $300.
Yeah, I'm going to show you one that shows that he has the card after that point, because when he was talking to me, he says it was on Monday. It was on Tuesday, because while he was talking to me, the refrigerated trailer ran out of fuel. He was in gambling. That's my personal opinion, of course. But when it ran out of fuel, reefers are extremely hard to start when they ran out of fuel. He had to go up to a service station, and here's the sales receipt, which he did paid with the card, and here's that receipt.
Okay, but that's for fuel, so I'm not...
Right, but it's not, you know...
And that just shows you that he had the card then.
Exactly,
on that date.
That's all I'm trying to show.
Right.
Okay.
Right, well, I got that.
Then he got the reefer started, went on the road, and he actually took a frontage road because he needed to use the restroom. I don't have a problem with that. But he hit a tire that was in the road and knocked off 2 valves off of the tanks and came to a dead stop on the frontage road because they lost all the air, which operates the brake system. I got a mechanic.
Well, listen to me. Listen to me. That's not relevant to me. If you hired...
Okay. The only reason I was telling you is because... I was just going to show you the purpose of him having the card. Because the mechanic said unless he had a card, he wouldn't take the payment over the phone.
I believe he had the card.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I told them that there may be a person there trying, and then I called him back, and he says, I did it. I don't know where my head was at.
Did you report him to the police?
Trucking company owner Michael Scharbach is accusing former employee Mark Harrell of theft after Mark allegedly made unauthorized charges on a company credit card.
Now, I believe he had the card. I believe he had the card, and all of the charges that were made on the card during the time of this trip he made, the ones that he made that because of his own negligence, well, that's your problem. You didn't hire a great driver. So you have to understand that I believe that he always had possession of the card. He may have stopped using it after this fiasco that he went on. But if he used it for anything that had to do with the truck, even his own negligence, that falls on you. So I want you to read out to me the charges that were made. So far, I have a few at the casino.
Okay, on 9/17, he was at the WinStar Casino, used the card with the PIN.
Another casino.
Yes, in Thackerville, Oklahoma. He drove my truck 70 miles from Fort Worth up to Thackerville to gamble. The draw was $313. The next draw was $416.50. And there was a total of 5 of those draws, so that I don't over-repeat myself, of that amount, $416.50.
And that was with the use of a PIN number, because they came out of an ATM.
That's correct.
Okay. And have you since changed your PIN number?
Well, as soon as he told me he lost the card, I called and canceled the card and reported it stolen. And then I called him back, and he admitted that he had done it.
Oh, on what date did you have this conversation with him?
On 9/17, when I noticed all this money was out of my account, and I was asking what the heck.
Would you tell me about that conversation, sir?
Sure.
Tell me about that conversation.
Well, when I first called him, I asked him, how come all this money's out of my account in Thackerville, Oklahoma? He says, I didn't do it. And I said, okay, do you have the card? He acted like he was looking in his wallet for the card. He says, nope, I don't have the card in my wallet. I must have lost it. I says, were you in Thackerville? He goes, yes, I was in Thackerville. So then I called the casino after I called Chase Bank and shut off the card, and I told them that there may be a person there trying to use a stolen or lost credit card to please watch for it. And then I called him back, and he says, I did it. I don't know where my head was at. He only used the word. And then he asked if I could have driving.
And what did you tell him?
I told him I would call Chase Bank.
You told him goodbye?
Well, no, I couldn't do it right there because I would have had to chase the truck clear out into Texas.
Right, I understand that. You told him goodbye on the 22nd of September.
Right, when we went, my nephew and I went and picked up the truck.
Did you report him to the police?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So you're giving me PSA rules as opposed to being a thief?
Correct.
We both know you took his money, not for the truck, for you. And your excuse is, well, he did something wrong too. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? No, you don't.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michael Scharbach says former employee Mark Harrell used a company credit card to steal money from him.
Did you report him to the police?
I have not yet, because I thought I was going to get it paid back. I will be honest, Your Honor, I don't like to have somebody have to go to prison, but if I don't get justice from him, I will go to the police and they can get the videos.
It's not a question of justice from him. If he is a thief and screwed up, maybe he has an addiction, but somebody else who's contemplating...
Right, and they're supposed to contact me by legal, and he didn't report that he had driven for me. He's hired on to the new
Number one, sir, you 1099 me. You don't even pay taxes on your employees.
That's right. You're a contract employer.
If you want to talk about morality here.
Mr. Harrell.
I actually did report him. I actually do put him down on the application.
You're talking apples and oranges, sir. You're talking apples and oranges.
Okay.
You're talking about taking money that doesn't belong to you and gambling with it. Maybe it's a problem that you have. I don't know whether you have a problem with gambling or not. But if he didn't 1099 you when you worked for him, whether he says you're an independent contractor or not, did he pay you by check or cash?
Cash. He has no paperwork of any of his drivers.
Mr. Harrell, did you report it to the IRS?
Not really my place.
That's a question. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. Well, it's not his income. Listen to me. He paid you. Whether he paid you by check or cash, it's your responsibility to report your income to the IRS.
Also,
not his
I'm
responsibility.
not allowed
yours.
to drive a truck as an independent contractor unless I own the truck, per
Just a
FMCSA
second.
rules.
So you're giving me PSA.
He's saying
You're
that I
talking
don't use him as a reference when I actually do put him down.
He said you took his money.
Correct.
If you say to me, listen, I did take his money. It was a mistake. I'm sorry I did it. But instead of saying I took his money, which you should say, because you clearly acknowledged it to him, and I'm looking at your eyes, sir, and we both know you took his money, not for the truck, for you. Your excuse is, well, he did something wrong too. That's your excuse. Not something wrong to you. I mean, he gave you a job, which you took. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? No, you don't. All of the unauthorized charges, sir, that had nothing to do with the truck add up to what?
On
I'll do
those,
a round number.
I've got it on the claim. But one of the things I did on that claim to the court, he drove my truck 140 miles, wasted fuel.
And so
I charged $2 a mile. Just
What
like
about the 4 days I sat shut down because your truck wasn't roadworthy?
Judge, don't speak. I'm not
The
speaking
DOT
to you.
inspected me in your vehicle
Don't
and shut
speak.
me down in the lost wages I got.
Don't speak, or else I'll just cut off your mic. You understand? I could do that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to and follow us on Twitter.
Now I'm going to answer you. I'm not giving you any mile. If you hired somebody, sir, who was disreputable and drove your truck so many miles in order for him to gamble, and you're charging him so much a mile, that's not part of my calculation.
Okay, that's fine.
That's your responsibility as an owner of a business. If you hire somebody that acts irresponsibly
I should have
while
just took it out of
driving
his
for
pay.
you, that's on you.
Right.
But if somebody used your card for their own pleasure, either on gambling or drinking or women or motels or whatever, that's not on you. That's on him.
Okay, I think that Chase Bank.
Who should
gave
I
us the
remind
amount.
you? I'm speaking. I'm speaking now. Now it's not time for you to speak, and I will use my little calculator here and hope for the best.
Well, I think Chase Bank. I have a letter here of how much it was, ma'am, right here from Chase Bank.
How much? How much was it?
What they took from the.
Just say it.
Never mind. I'm going to do it myself. $3,131. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished. Bye.
This case is concluded.
Next, Judge Judy.
Her dog got your dog in its mouth.
Was the threat obvious?
The defendant's dog has attacked other dogs before.
She says was the other dog's fault.
Judge Judy.
Well, I felt like it was absolutely fair. He stole the money.
I lost about a week's worth of wages because his truck broke down and I was shut down by the DOT.
He complains about the truck not being worthy.
Faulty brakes, steering, suspension.
Well, he had driven 8,000 miles without anything being wrong with it.
Basically, it's not allowed in the state of California either.
He inspects it every day. I have the logs. He claims that he inspected it and found nothing wrong.
I did lock my keys out of the car in Albuquerque. I did lose the card in Oklahoma.
If he had repaid it, I wouldn't be here in court, but there would still be an issue and he wouldn't be driving for me.
Which I did try to explain to him, and I left it in an ATM.
I think that I pity anybody that hires him.
Case of bad luck.
If you're going to hire drivers, make sure